San Diego, California, October 14, 1972, aboard the USS Vanguard, 3:20 in the afternoon. Bruce Lee stepped onto the destroyer's forward training deck while 40 sailors and Marines watched from behind steel railings, equipment cases, and stacked landing gear. The visit was supposed to be simple: a short tour, a few photographs, a conversation with men who had recognized him from television and film. But one officer near the rear of the deck had already decided that Bruce did not belong there. Captain Jack Nicholson stood beside four members of Alpha Group, an elite Navy SEAL assault detachment that had spent years training for boarding operations, coastal raids, and close fighting inside ships where no man had room to retreat. Nicholson was 38 years old, 6 feet 3, 225 pounds, short light brown hair, a broken nose, a narrow scar beside the right eyebrow, broad shoulders without unnecessary weight, hard forearms marked by rope burns and old cuts. He had led men through night landings, river missions, and operations that were never described in public reports. He trusted pressure, he trusted fatigue, he trusted what remained when fear, noise, and pain removed everything decorative. When Nicholson looked at Bruce, he saw a famous movie fighter in a fitted black shirt. Nothing more. Bruce wore dark trousers and black shoes, with his jacket folded over one arm. He listened while a Navy public affairs officer explained the ship's recent coastal exercises. He asked how quickly damaged compartments could be sealed, how crews trained when lights failed, how many men remained awake during night watch. The sailors expected questions about weapons. Bruce wanted to know how the ship survived. That earned their attention. A young signalman stepped closer. "Mr. Lee?" Bruce turned. "Yes?" "My brother says you can hit a man before he sees you move." Several sailors laughed. Bruce smiled once. "Your brother exaggerates," a Marine corporal named Daniel Haynes called from beside the training mats. "Can you show us something anyway?" The public affairs officer began to object. Bruce looked at the open section of deck. Gray mats had already been placed near a steel bulkhead for morning drills. Pads, ropes, and wooden practice weapons rested nearby. "Something small," Bruce said. The men moved quickly. A semicircle formed around the mats. Haynes volunteered before anyone asked him. He was 24, 6 feet tall, athletic, and confident enough to grin while he flexed nervous hands. Bruce handed his jacket to a sailor and stepped onto the mat. "Reach for my shoulder." Haynes reached. Bruce touched the wrist, shifted half a step, and placed the Marine beside him before Haynes understood where the center had gone. The movement was compact. No throw, no pain. Haynes turned and laughed. "Again!" This time he moved faster. Bruce intercepted the arm, stepped outside, and stopped 2 fingers near the ribs. Haynes looked down. Bruce had already moved away. "That was fast," one sailor said. "Do it for real," another called. Bruce looked toward him. "For real, someone gets hurt." The laughter returned. Nicholson did not laugh. He remained near the edge with his arms folded. Bruce asked Haynes to throw a controlled right hand. The Marine punched. Bruce moved outside the line and placed a short strike against the chest before the punch finished extending. He did not drive through it. He showed only where it would land. Haynes stared at the hand. "I didn't see it." "You watch the hand," Bruce said. "What should I watch?" "The whole man." Bruce repeated the movement slowly. He showed the shoulder beginning to turn, the hip shifting, the foot committing weight. Nothing looked mystical. Nothing looked secret. It looked practical. Several Marines leaned closer. Nicholson finally stepped away from Alpha Group. His boots struck the steel deck with a steady rhythm. The applause faded before he reached the mat. "That might impress actors," Nicholson said. Bruce turned toward him. Nicholson stopped several feet away. "Maybe college kids too." The public affairs officer lifted a hand. "Captain Nicholson." Nicholson ignored him. "But this is the United States Navy." The deck went quiet. He looked around at the sailors, Marines, and SEAL operators. "Men here do not survive because they move fast during demonstrations." He pointed toward the gray mat. "They survive because they keep fighting when the other man is stronger, dirtier, and trying to kill them." Then he looked directly at Bruce. "Shaolin tricks look fine in movies." His voice stayed controlled. "But against men who have gone through war, those tricks mean nothing." Haynes stepped away from the mat. Bruce studied Nicholson's stance. Weight slightly forward, hands relaxed, shoulders loose. The captain was not pretending to be dangerous. He believed experience had already answered every question Bruce could ask. Bruce said, "You believe that?" Nicholson answered immediately, "I know it." Bruce looked toward the mat. "Then test it." The men around them shifted closer. The public affairs officer stepped between the two men. "That is not why Mr. Lee came aboard." Nicholson looked past him. "I did not challenge the guest." Bruce answered, "You challenged what I showed." Nicholson's eyes returned to him. "I challenged the idea that it survives real pressure." Bruce handed his jacket to Haynes. "Then bring pressure." The circle widened. Alpha Group moved to the front. Two sailors dragged equipment cases away from the mat. A senior chief stepped between Bruce and Nicholson. "No weapons, no attacks to the eyes or throat, no strikes after one man is down. It ends when one man yields or cannot continue." Nicholson pulled off his dark green training shirt. Under it, he wore a fitted gray undershirt. Scars crossed one shoulder. A pale line ran beneath his ribs. He kept his fatigue trousers and combat boots. Bruce looked down at the boots. Nicholson noticed. "War does not ask men to remove them." Bruce looked back up. "Keep them." The physical difference became obvious. Nicholson stood almost 5 inches taller and outweighed Bruce by more than 70 pounds. But the size was not the main danger. Nicholson knew how to close distance inside narrow passages, how to trap wrists against steel, how to move through resistance instead of around it, how to continue after taking a hit. The senior chief looked at both men. "Keep control." Nicholson raised his hand slightly. "That depends on what he shows me." Bruce extended his lead hand. "Come closer and find out." The chief stepped away. The fight began with silence. Nicholson did not raise a boxing guard. He moved forward with both hands low. Bruce stood slightly sideways. Lead hand extended. Weight light. Nicholson took one step, then another. Bruce moved left. Nicholson turned. Bruce touched the lead hand toward Nicholson's face. The captain did not retreat. The fingers passed close. Nicholson stepped through the line. Bruce kicked low toward the thigh. The boot absorbed part of it. Nicholson continued forward. His left hand reached for Bruce's wrist. Bruce removed it. Nicholson's right hand moved toward the shoulder. Bruce turned outside. Nicholson followed. He did not chase the head. He chased the body. Bruce struck the chest with a short, straight hand. Nicholson absorbed it and kept coming. A murmur moved through the circle. Bruce stepped away. Nicholson smiled. "Too clean." Bruce watched him. Nicholson advanced again. Bruce's lead hand touched the face. A low kick landed against the outside of the thigh. Nicholson's leg shifted half an inch. He stepped through both attacks. His forearm pressed against Bruce's shoulder. His other hand caught the wrist. Bruce turned free before the grip closed. Nicholson followed and drove a short shoulder into the chest. Bruce gave one step. The sailors reacted. Nicholson continued. He did not throw wide punches. He used his hands to remove space. One hand reached. The other blocked an exit. The shoulder moved behind them. Bruce shifted right. Nicholson's boot crossed the angle. Bruce moved left. Nicholson turned and closed again. The mat suddenly looked smaller. Bruce attacked the body. A short, straight hand beneath the ribs. Nicholson exhaled. Bruce kicked the thigh. Nicholson took the contact and entered. His left hand caught the black shirt near the shoulder. His right forearm pressed across Bruce's arm. Bruce stepped back. Nicholson stayed with him. Bruce struck the chest. Nicholson did not release. He pulled Bruce closer and drove a knee toward the thigh. Bruce turned enough to reduce it. Nicholson's forehead came near Bruce's cheek. The captain spoke quietly. "This is what pressure feels like." Bruce lowered his center. His left hand struck beneath Nicholson's ribs. The grip weakened. Bruce stepped outside and hit the chest again. Nicholson released and turned. Bruce was already several feet away. The crowd reacted. Nicholson touched the place beneath his ribs, then smiled. "That was better." Bruce said, "You came closer." Nicholson raised his hand slightly. The next entry was faster. He feinted with the left hand. Bruce watched the shoulder. Nicholson stepped behind the feint and caught Bruce's returning wrist. His other hand closed on the upper arm. Bruce rotated. Nicholson followed the rotation. The captain moved his head close, blocked the far side with his shoulder, and drove forward. Bruce struck the body once. Nicholson absorbed it. Bruce tried to step outside. Nicholson's boot blocked the path. The captain turned his hips and sent Bruce across the mat. Not a clean throw. A violent redirection. Bruce caught himself with one hand and rolled back to his feet. The sailors shouted. Nicholson did not rush him. He waited. "You move well when no one has you." Bruce stood. Nicholson pointed toward the place where the hand had touched the deck. "But the floor still found you." Bruce looked down, then back at Nicholson. The floor was always there. Nicholson's smile disappeared. Bruce moved first. A straight lead struck the center of Nicholson's chest. A low kick hit the thigh. Bruce stepped outside and drove another short hand beneath the ribs. Nicholson turned to close. Bruce struck the shoulder, then the body, then moved away. 3 attacks, 3 different lines. Nicholson reached after the last one and caught only cloth. The circle reacted. Bruce attacked again. Lead hand toward the face. Nicholson slipped inside. Bruce changed the line and hit the body. Nicholson caught the forearm. Bruce kicked the thigh. Nicholson tightened the grip. Bruce stepped around the captain's lead side and struck the chest with the free hand. Nicholson released and turned late. Bruce's palm touched the jaw. Not full force. Enough to move the head. The sailors shouted louder. Nicholson's expression changed. The contempt remained. The certainty did not. He advanced. Bruce stopped him with a kick to the hip. Nicholson drove through it. Bruce struck the ribs. Nicholson caught the shirt. Bruce hit the body again. Nicholson pulled him close. The exchange became short and ugly. Forearms, shoulders, hands against ribs. Boots fighting for position. Nicholson drove one short punch into Bruce's side. Bruce exhaled. Nicholson moved the shoulder under Bruce's chest and pushed. Bruce gave ground. One step, then another. The edge of the mat approached. Beyond it stood a steel bulkhead. Nicholson saw the position. He increased pressure. Bruce struck beneath the ribs. Nicholson's body tightened. Bruce hit the chest. Nicholson did not stop. His left forearm pressed across Bruce's upper chest. His right hand controlled the wrist. Bruce's back met steel. The sound was sharp. The circle fell silent. This was the moment Nicholson trusted. No room, no distance, no clean angle, no space for the fast man to become faster. Nicholson pushed. The deck vibrated beneath them. This is where tricks stop. Bruce looked down at Nicholson's hips, then at the lead knee. Nicholson saw the glance. "You finally understand?" Bruce looked back at him. "No." Nicholson's expression hardened. "You're standing where I need you." Nicholson drove forward. Bruce dropped his center. His trapped wrist moved inward instead of away. His left forearm struck beneath Nicholson's controlling arm. At the same moment, Bruce's left foot stepped outside the captain's lead boot. Nicholson's pressure continued toward the steel. Bruce turned with it. The trapped wrist rotated free. A short strike landed beneath Nicholson's ribs. Bruce's shoulder slipped under the forearm. Nicholson hit the bulkhead with his own chest and shoulder. The metal rang. Bruce was already beside him. A low kick struck the back of Nicholson's thigh. A palm hit the center of the chest. The captain stumbled one step away from the steel. Bruce did not stop. Another short hand to the body. A straight strike to the chest. A kick to the outside of the lead leg. Nicholson turned and raised both arms. Bruce moved around them. A final lead hand touched the face. Nicholson backed away for the first time. The sailors erupted. Nicholson lifted one hand. The noise faded. He looked at Bruce. No smile now. "You used the wall," Bruce answered. "You brought it." Nicholson's men exchanged glances. The fight had changed. Nicholson had wanted to prove that pressure erased technique. Instead, Bruce had used the pressure to decide where Nicholson would stand. The captain rolled one shoulder. The impact against steel had hurt it. He did not show much. Bruce saw enough. The men around the mat understood what Nicholson had just lost. Not strength, not courage. The right to decide the shape of the exchange. Until that moment, every step had belonged to him. He entered. Bruce moved. He gripped. Bruce escaped. He pressured. Bruce answered. Nicholson had chosen the question each time. Now Bruce had turned the steel wall into a weapon against the man who brought him there. The captain looked toward the members of Alpha Detachment. None of them avoided his eyes. They had trained under him too long for that. But they had seen the change. Nicholson had driven Bruce into the position he trusted most. Bruce had attacked from inside it. That mattered more than the noise from the sailors. Nicholson stepped back onto the center of the mat. Bruce followed only far enough to keep the distance honest. The captain lifted his damaged shoulder once. Bruce saw the slight hesitation. He attacked it immediately. A lead hand touched the chest. Nicholson turned the shoulder away. Bruce kicked the thigh. Nicholson planted. Bruce struck beneath the ribs. The captain reached for the wrist. Bruce removed it and hit the chest again. Nicholson stepped forward. Bruce moved outside and returned with a palm to the jaw. The captain's head turned. Bruce kicked the hip. Nicholson tried to close. A straight hand met him before the grip formed. The sailors reacted to every impact. Bruce did not wait for the reaction. He continued. Body, leg, chest, angle. Nicholson blocked one line and found another already open. For the first time, the captain looked less like a wall and more like a man forced to make decisions faster than he wanted. He remained dangerous. His eyes stayed clear. His feet stayed beneath him. But Bruce had made him defend. That was new. Nicholson had built his fighting around forward movement. Defense existed only long enough to create another entry. Bruce denied him that rhythm. Each attack arrived before the captain could complete the reset. Each angle forced the damaged shoulder to turn. Each low kick made the lead leg carry more weight. Nicholson finally raised both forearms and absorbed a body strike against them. Bruce stopped outside the return. The captain looked at him over the guard. You wanted pressure, Bruce said. Nicholson lowered one arm. I wanted proof. Bruce shifted his stance. You're getting it. The answer drew a hard sound from several sailors. Not laughter, approval. Nicholson heard it. He did not look away from Bruce. The contempt that had started the challenge was gone completely. The captain no longer saw a performer. He saw a problem that changed every time he began to solve it. Nicholson stepped forward again, slower, more careful. The contempt had gone. What remained was more dangerous. Respect did not make Nicholson gentler. It made him precise. He stopped reaching for Bruce's hands. He began watching the return. Bruce touched the lead hand toward his face. Nicholson waited. The hand came back. Nicholson entered behind it. One hand caught the wrist. The other closed on the shoulder. Bruce struck the body. Nicholson turned the hips and pulled. Bruce's balance shifted. Nicholson drove a knee toward the thigh. Bruce absorbed part of it. The captain changed levels. His arms locked around Bruce's torso. Bruce widened his stance. Nicholson lifted. Bruce's feet left the mat. The circle shouted. Nicholson carried him 2 steps. Bruce struck the side of the ribs with a short palm. Nicholson tightened the grip. Bruce hit the same place again. Nicholson's breath changed. Bruce hooked one foot behind the captain's calf. Nicholson tried to turn and drive him down. Bruce shifted his hips away from the line. The captain's lift lost direction. Bruce's feet returned to the deck. Nicholson still held him. Bruce struck the body, then the chest, then the thigh with a short knee. Nicholson released one arm. Bruce turned outside and hit the shoulder. The captain swung a short forearm. Bruce moved beneath it. A low kick struck the lead leg. Nicholson's knee dipped. Bruce touched the jaw. The captain backed away. The crowd reacted again. Bruce had attacked 6 times during one attempted lift. Not one movement was large. Nothing looked theatrical. Nicholson breathed through the nose. Bruce waited. The captain came forward. Bruce attacked before the grip formed. Straight lead to the chest. Low kick to the thigh. Short hand beneath the ribs. Nicholson reached. Bruce changed angle. A palm touched the jaw. Nicholson turned. Bruce kicked the hip. The captain tried to close. Bruce struck the chest again. Nicholson finally caught the shirt with both hands. The fabric tightened. He pulled Bruce close. Now you belong to me. Bruce looked at the fist holding the cloth. You are holding the cloth. Bruce struck beneath the ribs. Nicholson's elbows tightened. Bruce hit the same place again. The captain pulled harder. Bruce stepped sideways instead of backward. The shirt twisted. The body moved free. Nicholson still held fabric. Bruce's shoulder slipped out of the line. A short strike hit the chest. A low kick struck behind the knee. Nicholson released one hand to recover balance. Bruce used the opening. Palm to the jaw. Straight hand to the ribs. Kick to the thigh. Nicholson stumbled 3 steps. The sailors shouted. Bruce remained in front of him. Not running. Not performing. Attacking. Nicholson raised both hands. Bruce struck the body again. Nicholson blocked. Bruce changed height and kicked the leg. Nicholson checked part of it. Bruce moved outside and touched the face. Nicholson turned. Bruce was already on the other side. The captain's men stopped smiling. They had seen Nicholson control men in narrow spaces. They had seen him fight through fatigue. They had seen him continue after injuries that sent others to the ground. But they had not seen anyone force him to reset this many times. Every reset cost breath. Every turn cost balance. Every missed grip forced the captain to carry his own weight through another step. Bruce did not attack the strongest part of him. He attacked the moment before strength became control. Nicholson understood. He changed again. He lowered the hands, stopped following, waited near the center of the mat. Bruce circled. Nicholson remained still. The captain had decided not to chase speed. He would force speed to return. Bruce stepped closer. Nicholson watched the shoulders. Bruce feinted low. Nicholson did not react. Bruce touched the face. Nicholson waited for the hand to return, then entered. The timing was perfect. His left hand caught the wrist. His right arm closed around Bruce's upper body. His head pressed beneath Bruce's jaw. His boot stepped behind Bruce's lead foot. The captain turned sharply. Bruce hit the mat. The impact drove air from his chest. The circle erupted. Nicholson followed him down. One knee pressed near the hip. One hand controlled the wrist. The other forearm crossed the upper chest. The senior chief moved closer. Nicholson looked at Bruce. 5 seconds. The rules allowed an immobilization. The chief began counting. 1. Bruce turned the trapped wrist. Nicholson tightened. 2. Bruce shifted the hips. Nicholson moved the knee and closed the space. 3. Bruce struck the side of Nicholson's ribs with the free hand. The captain absorbed it. 4. Bruce planted one foot. Nicholson moved his weight forward. Bruce stopped, fighting the wrist. His hips turned beneath the captain's center. The free arm moved inside. The trapped shoulder dropped. Nicholson's weight continued into empty space. Bruce rolled toward the side. The captain's base opened. Bruce came to one knee. Nicholson still held the wrist. Bruce struck the body. The grip weakened. Bruce turned and rose. The crowd exploded before the chief could say 5. Nicholson stood immediately. Bruce's breathing was harder. A red mark crossed the side of his face. The throw had been real. The hold had nearly ended the fight. Nicholson saw the marks. That was not a movie floor. Bruce nodded. No. Nicholson stepped closer. And you still got up. Bruce raised his hands. You noticed. Nicholson did not move immediately. He had already thrown Bruce once. He had nearly held him for the full count. That success mattered. The captain now knew Bruce could be touched, carried, and driven into bad positions. Bruce knew something equally important. Nicholson required commitment before control. Every hard entry placed weight somewhere. Every grip narrowed the captain's options as well as Bruce's. The next minute became a contest over who could force the other man to commit first. Nicholson showed the left hand and waited. Bruce did not react. The captain stepped closer. Bruce touched the chest with a straight lead and moved outside. Nicholson turned without reaching. Bruce kicked the thigh. Nicholson absorbed it and stayed centered. Bruce attacked again. Lead hand toward the face. Short strike beneath the ribs. Step to the outside. Nicholson blocked the body shot and drove a forearm toward the shoulder. Bruce redirected it. Nicholson changed levels and reached for the waist. Bruce struck the chest twice before the arms closed. The captain continued forward. Bruce moved around the lead side and kicked behind the knee. Nicholson's leg bent, but he recovered without falling. He swung a compact forearm toward Bruce's head. Bruce slipped beneath it and hit the ribs. Nicholson turned. Bruce struck the chest. The captain reached. Bruce removed the arm and touched the jaw with an open palm. The crowd reacted to the sequence. Bruce had landed 5 times while Nicholson had spent the same seconds trying to create one complete hold. Nicholson backed away half a step, not because the strikes had broken him, because he needed to stop giving Bruce the same entry. He changed his stance, right foot slightly behind, hands closer to the body. Bruce watched the adjustment. Nicholson advanced without extending either arm. Bruce kicked the thigh. The captain checked it with the boot and stepped through. Bruce struck the chest. Nicholson accepted the contact and drove his shoulder forward. Bruce turned outside. Nicholson did not follow the head. He followed the hip. His hand caught the back of Bruce's shirt. The other arm closed near the waist. Bruce hit the ribs with a short palm. Nicholson pulled him backward. Bruce struck again. The grip tightened. Bruce stepped across the captain's lead leg and turned sharply. For one instant, both men faced the same direction. Nicholson tried to drag Bruce down from behind. Bruce dropped his weight, struck the thigh, and rotated beneath the controlling arm. The cloth twisted in Nicholson's fist. Bruce's body slipped free. He turned and hit the chest before Nicholson released the shirt. The captain gave one step. Bruce kicked the lead leg. Nicholson's knee dipped. Bruce followed with a straight hand beneath the ribs. The captain blocked the next strike and answered with a short punch to Bruce's side. Bruce exhaled and moved away. Both men reset. Nicholson touched the reopened cut near his eyebrow. Bruce pressed one hand briefly against his ribs. The fight was no longer about whether movie speed could survive contact. It was about whether either man could keep solving the other after the first answer failed. The next exchange began without warning. Nicholson entered behind a false reach. Bruce hit the body. Nicholson caught the arm. Bruce kicked the thigh. Nicholson drove the shoulder forward. Bruce turned. Nicholson followed. Bruce struck the chest. Nicholson took it. Bruce hit the ribs. Nicholson's grip closed on the waist. Bruce widened the stance. Nicholson lifted. Bruce attacked the body twice. The captain turned. Bruce hooked the leg. Nicholson changed direction. Both men stumbled across the mat. Bruce landed first but rolled immediately. Nicholson followed. Bruce kicked the hip from the ground. The captain lost one step. Bruce rose before the grip returned. Nicholson advanced. Bruce met him with a straight lead, then a low kick, then a palm to the chest. Nicholson gave ground. Bruce continued. Body, thigh, chest, face, 4 attacks. Nicholson blocked 2. The other 2 landed. Bruce moved outside. Nicholson turned. Bruce struck the ribs again. The captain tried to trap the arm. Bruce removed it and hit the chest. Nicholson's breathing changed. The sailors heard it. The fight had passed the point of demonstration. Both men were marked. Bruce's shirt was stretched at the shoulder. A red line crossed his ribs. Nicholson's right shoulder moved less freely after striking the bulkhead. His lead leg had absorbed repeated kicks. The narrow scar near his eyebrow had reopened. A thin line of blood moved toward the cheek. Neither man asked to stop. The senior chief watched closely. Nicholson wiped the blood with one thumb, then looked at it. He smiled once, not with contempt, with recognition. Now we're somewhere honest, Bruce answered. We were always here. Nicholson attacked. He used the damaged shoulder as bait. Bruce watched it. Nicholson stepped with the opposite side and closed on the body. Bruce struck the ribs. Nicholson absorbed it. His arms locked around Bruce's torso again. This grip was lower, tighter. His head pressed to the chest. The captain drove forward. Bruce's feet slid across the mat. The steel bulkhead waited behind him again. Nicholson knew Bruce had escaped there once. He changed the angle. Instead of driving straight, he turned toward the open deck. Bruce could not use the wall. Nicholson lifted. Bruce's feet left the mat a second time. The circle became silent. The captain carried him toward the edge of the training area. Beyond the mat stood steel deck and a low equipment rack. Bruce struck the ribs. Nicholson kept moving. Bruce hit the chest. Nicholson tightened. Bruce attacked the thigh with a knee. The captain's lead leg shook. He continued. Bruce looked down. Nicholson's feet were wide, weight moving forward, the grip strong, the base committed. Bruce shifted his hips. The captain adjusted. Bruce struck beneath the ribs again. Nicholson's breath broke. Bruce placed one foot against the inside of Nicholson's thigh. The captain tried to turn him down. Bruce moved with the turn. His body rotated farther than Nicholson expected. The trap side became an opening. Bruce's foot reached the deck. His other leg hooked behind Nicholson's supporting leg. The captain felt it. He tried to recover. Bruce struck the ribs, then the chest, then drove the shoulder beneath Nicholson's arm. The captain's weight continued forward. His supporting leg disappeared. Nicholson hit the mat on his side. The impact shook the equipment rack. Bruce landed on one knee beside him. He could have attacked. He did not. He stepped away. Nicholson rolled to his hands. The crowd erupted. The captain looked at the mat, and then at Bruce. "You used my lift," Bruce said. "You committed to it." Nicholson pushed himself upright. His lead leg resisted. He forced it straight. Bruce waited. Nicholson's men watched their captain. No one offered help. They knew he would refuse. Nicholson raised both hands. The fight continued. Bruce attacked first. Straight lead to the chest, low kick to the thigh. Nicholson blocked the hand and absorbed the kick. Bruce stepped outside. Palm to the shoulder, body shot beneath the ribs. Nicholson swung a short forearm. Bruce slipped it. Kick to the hip, straight hand to the chest. Nicholson backed away. Bruce followed. This was no longer Bruce escaping pressure. He was creating it. Nicholson tried to plant. Bruce struck the body. The captain reached for the wrist. Bruce changed the line and hit the jaw with an open palm. Nicholson turned. Bruce kicked the thigh again. The captain's knee dipped. The sailors shouted. Nicholson pushed forward. Bruce intercepted him with a straight hand to the chest. The captain continued. Bruce hit the body. Nicholson reached. Bruce stepped outside. Palm to the jaw. Low kick. Body shot. Nicholson stumbled toward the metal rail at the edge of the training area. He caught it with one hand. Bruce stopped several feet away. The captain turned. The rail was behind him now, the same position he had created for Bruce earlier. Nicholson saw the symmetry. So did the sailors. Bruce did not rush. Nicholson released the rail. He stepped forward. One final entry. His best one. No feint, no performance. He drove directly through the center, left hand toward the wrist, right arm toward the body, shoulder behind both. Bruce moved before the grip formed. A straight strike hit the chest. Nicholson continued. A low kick struck the lead thigh. The captain drove through it. Bruce stepped outside the shoulder. A short hand landed beneath the ribs. Nicholson turned. Bruce hit the chest again. The captain reached. Bruce redirected the arm. A palm struck the jaw. Nicholson's head moved. Bruce kicked behind the damaged knee. The leg folded. Nicholson dropped to one knee. The sailors shouted. The captain planted one hand on the deck. He tried to rise. Bruce remained in front of him. Nicholson forced the leg beneath his body. Bruce struck the chest with a controlled straight hand. Not enough to injure. Enough to stop the rise. Nicholson sat back on the knee. The senior chief stepped between them. "That's enough." Nicholson looked up. His chest moved heavily. Blood remained near the eyebrow. His right shoulder hung lower. His lead leg shook beneath him. Bruce stood several feet away, breathing hard, marked at the ribs. Black shirt stretched and partly torn near one shoulder. He did not raise his hands. He did not smile. The sailors remained silent. Nicholson lifted one hand. The chief stepped back. The captain forced himself to stand. The leg nearly failed. He steadied it, then faced Bruce. The public affairs officer moved toward them. Nicholson stopped him with one look. The captain spoke first. "That wasn't demonstration speed," Bruce answered. "No." Nicholson wiped the blood near his eye. "Then what was it?" Bruce looked at the men around them. "Timing under pressure." Nicholson breathed once, then looked down at his hands. "I had the grip." "Yes." "Twice." "Yes." Nicholson looked at Bruce. "Then why didn't I have control?" Bruce answered without hesitation. "Because holding a man and controlling him are not the same thing." The words stayed with Nicholson. He looked toward the bulkhead, then toward the mat where Bruce had turned the lift, then toward the rail behind him. The captain had believed every close position belonged to him. Bruce had shown that a position belonged only to the man who understood it first. Nicholson extended one hand. Bruce looked at it, then took it. The sailors applauded, not wildly, not like a show. The sound was harder, respect from men who had watched both fighters fail, adjust, and continue. Nicholson released the hand. He turned toward Alpha Detachment. One of his operators smiled. "Shaolin tricks, Captain?" Nicholson looked at him. The smile disappeared. "Get the mats reset." The operator moved immediately. Bruce picked up his jacket. Haynes handed it to him. The young Marine looked toward Nicholson. "I've never seen him go backward like that." Bruce put on the jacket. "He didn't go backward." Haynes looked confused. Bruce nodded toward the captain. "He changed." Nicholson heard the words. He did not respond. The visit lasted more than 40 minutes. No official photographs were taken of the fight. The public affairs officer made sure of that. The ship's log recorded only that a civilian martial arts guest had visited the Vanguard during afternoon training. Nothing about the mat, nothing about the blood near Nicholson's eyebrow, nothing about the captain on one knee. But the sailors remembered. They remembered Nicholson's first words: Shaolin tricks, movie speed, demonstration movement. They remembered Bruce against the steel bulkhead. And they remembered the captain discovering that pressure did not remove technique. Pressure revealed whether technique could survive. 3 weeks later, Alpha Detachment trained aboard the same ship before dawn. The deck was wet. The wind was colder. The men wore boots and equipment. Nicholson stood near the bulkhead with his arms folded. 2 operators worked inside a narrow marked space. One tried to pin the other against steel. The attacker drove forward. The defender fought the arms. Nicholson stopped them. "No." Both men froze. The captain stepped closer. "You're fighting the grip." The defender nodded. "He has me." Nicholson shook his head. "He has cloth and pressure." The men waited. Nicholson pointed toward the attacker's lead knee. "Where is his weight?" "Forward." "Where is his hip?" "Committed." "Then stop fighting the hands." The defender looked at him. Nicholson stepped into the position. He allowed the operator to pin his shoulder. Then he lowered his center, stepped outside the lead boot, turned with the pressure, and slipped beside the man. The operator hit the bulkhead with his own shoulder. The other men reacted. Nicholson stepped away. "Again!" They repeated it. This time the operator changed the angle. Nicholson nodded. "Better?" One of the younger men asked, "When did we start using that?" Nicholson looked toward the gray morning water. "We started when I realized pressure is not ownership." The men understood that the answer came from somewhere. No one asked where. Nicholson continued the drill. He made them begin from bad positions. One wrist controlled, back against steel, one knee already damaged. Balance moving in the wrong direction. He did not make training easier. He made it less certain. A new operator complained after the 4th repetition. "Why begin after the mistake?" Nicholson looked at him. "Because real fights rarely ask permission before they become ugly." The operator nodded. Nicholson stepped closer. "Because a man who only works from perfect position does not have skill." He pointed toward the bulkhead. "He has a demonstration." The word made several older men look at one another. Nicholson saw it. He did not smile. Months later, Haynes wrote to his brother. He described the ship, the sea, the noise, the way Bruce moved. He did not describe every strike. He described the moment against steel. Captain Nicholson had believed that was where the fight ended. Bruce had believed it was simply another position. That difference decided everything. San Diego, California. October 14th, 1972. Aboard the USS Vanguard, a battle-hardened Navy captain looked at Bruce Lee and saw a performer. He had survived operations where hesitation killed men. He had trained elite operators to dominate narrow spaces. He believed speed belonged to demonstrations. He believed pressure belonged to war. Then he closed the distance, caught the wrist, pinned Bruce against steel, and discovered that the closer he came, the more precisely Bruce could read him. Nicholson did touch him, he threw him, pinned him, lifted him, drove him backward. The danger was real. So was the answer. Bruce did not win by pretending battlefield experience meant nothing. He won by refusing to let experience become certainty. Nicholson knew how to hold a man. Bruce knew that control could disappear before the hands opened. On the deck of the Vanguard, the captain came to prove that Shaolin tricks stopped when pressure began. Instead, he learned that timing under pressure was never a trick.